Dr. Lester W. Young, he's a member of the Board of Regents. That is just the title for the work that this gentleman does. Mr. Young has been on the forefront of education in New York City for many, many years, and not just on the forefront in a superficial way, but he is the one that our principals, our parents, our teachers look to for guidance. And he has provided this amazing insight to the schools and to all of us. And we are just really fortunate here in Brooklyn that he was here for many, many years. Now he's a little more global, but his heart is still in Brooklyn. And so it is really great honor that I introduce Dr. Lester W. Young. And please, Dr. Young. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Young.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
And Anne-Marie, thank you for that more than generous introduction. I have to say to both Mr. Wimby and Ms. Allen, as I listened to you, I sat there listening to you, it wasn't just an informative opportunity for me. It was also an emotional opportunity, and it just indulged me for a moment. This year, in 2014, will be my 45th year in education. And you know, I always wondered, you know, what would I do if I wasn't involved in school? And after watching that video, I'm just inspired to just keep doing it. The other point that I would make, which is a significant one, and will place my remarks in a context. I know many of you probably saw the classic film Hotel Rwanda. And there was a scene in the film when the great actor Don Cheadle, a person came up to him and said to him, "When are they coming to save us?" And his response was, "No one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to save ourselves." And after I listened to your remarks and I watched the video, it just reaffirmed my sense of why I'm in this business, why I continue in this business, and why I felt it was so important for me to come and be with you this evening. Now, we're going to try and work the technology. And so, one of the things that I thought was important, there's a lot of controversy right now in New York, across the country, in education. How many people have children in the public schools here? Okay, there are a few. Well, here's what we now know. Our president, Barack Obama, has said by 2020, America will once again have the highest proportion of college graduates in the world. Now, that's a bold target. Once again, by 2020, we'll have the largest percentage of college graduates. And he said we would do this, and I'm not going to read these slides to you, but he said we would do this by an aggressive effort of working with children and families from birth through post-secondary education. And essentially what he has said is that contrary to a lot of educators in this country, you know, the sense is, well, we need to work with the youngest children. Some people say we need to work with them in the middle. And others say we have to concentrate at the college age. And what I would say to you is what our president has said, we have to do all of it. Right? And so this slide demonstrates that the president's vision is that we must do all of it. And why must we do all of it? If you look at this next slide, this is an important one. The seven of the top 10 fastest growing occupations require a post-secondary degree. Now, many parents ask me, they say, well, Dr. Young, does my child really have to go to college? There are lots of jobs. I see people who are doing jobs all over, and they didn't go to college, and why does my child have to go to? Well, here's the answer. Here is the simple answer. The jobs that pay a family living wage today require the same skill that you need to be successful in your first year of college. It's very simple. Try to be an auto mechanic on a brand new Chrysler 300C and not be able to work on a computer, right? And so the language of the computer is mathematics. And I'm going to get back to that in a moment. So if you look at the list, if you look at this list of 10 professions, the first thing you'll notice is that biomedical engineers, network system analysis, financial examiners, medical scientists, physician's assistants, biochemists, and biophysicists, all of these professions requires a high degree of skill in science, technology, and mathematics. Now, the other reason why, and it's a very simple one, there's a direct relationship between education, how much money you will earn, and a lower unemployment. So it's very simple. You know, people talk about the unemployment rate, but we know in the state of New York right now, there are over 100,000 jobs that go unfilled because we can't find skilled workers. It's very simple. So people say they're not jobs, but here's the challenge. We don't have the young people, we're not graduating the young people to fill these jobs. But let me take it a step further. And this is why education is such a crisis, particularly in this city. And it's important for members of the people of the diaspora to understand this. Because sometimes we believe, right? We do believe that everything is all right. Sometimes we believe that. And I have to be very honest with you, as someone who sits at the highest education policy body in this state, is that if you look at the City University of New York, if you look at our community colleges, if you look at our four-year colleges, the first thing you have to understand is that we have in our colleges in New York City a 70% dropout rate, right? And these are for young people who graduate from high school. And so something is wrong. And so what we all have to do is be very vigilant about what we do in education. And that's why I was so inspired by this evening's presentation, because it talks about partnerships. I visit schools all across Brooklyn, and the one thing that I noticed is that they cut their arts program. They cut their music program. And we just heard a presentation, we saw it. So we can't act like we didn't see it. We now know that our young people need art and music just as much as they need all the other subjects. So thank you for that. I'm going to skip these next 3 slides because I don't want to bore you with data. Because there are other people who will do that, not here tonight, but there are other people, not me. But this is an important one because we talk about college and career ready, and I have to tell the truth. On the left, you'll see the numbers for New York on the old standards, right? These are young people who were graduating based on the old standards. If you look on the right side, and by the way, the data is disaggregated by race. So if you look where it says black, it says on the old standard, black students were graduating at a rate of 58%. In other words, there was a 58% graduation rate. Right? You can do the math. If you go to the right, if you look at the college and career ready standard, the standard that says that a youngster can go to college without taking remedial courses. That's what we mean by college ready. to go to college, take college courses, not go to college and take high school courses. If you look at that rate, the rate drops for our young people to 12.5%. So we have lots of work to do, right? We have lots of work to do in our schools, and that's why coming together in these kinds of community forums are so, so important. And what I would also say to you is this: all is not bleak, right? This is not a desperate situation. Because in our midst, in Brooklyn, in Crown Heights, we have one of the foremost educators in this country who's leading a high school. So all of you should know who he is. In fact, from Jamaica, Dr. Michael Wilshire, the principal of Medgar Evers Preparatory High School. Now, why do I call his name? Why do I call his name? When Michael first came to Medgar Evers College, there were some people who didn't understand him. They didn't understand, and it wasn't the parents, because the parents understood it, but there were people in the system who didn't understand it. They didn't understand his approach, they didn't understand his methodology, they didn't understand his standards, and they wanted to remove Michael, right? And some of us know they did remove Michael, but the parents demanded, they fought. Michael Bloomberg was elected, and every day for the first month of his I was going to say reign. I'm sorry. Every day for the first month of his mayoralship, the parents of Crown Heights, Medgar Evers Prep, went to City Hall, and they were able to bring Dr. Wilshire back. Now, this is a strong Jamaican educator. And let me tell you what he's done. Between then and now, between 2003 and 2014, Medgar Evers Prep now has a graduation rate of 99%. Medgar Evers Prep, his graduation this year, 50%, half of his class will graduate with not only a high school diploma, but they're graduating with an associate's degree. Now think about that. Right? And they did it in 4 years. And so when you're looking for interns, right? Because here's what we know. People of the diaspora, everybody in the community knows about Medgar Evers Prep. Right? And so we as a community should be supporting this thing. Yeah. Because in that school, I visited the school on Monday. The students are taking French, German, Spanish, and
Jamaica.
Chinese.
Wow.
It is the only school in New York State that offers advanced placement Chinese, right? Kids from Crown Heights. They also offer advanced placement physics. Not only the standard physics, but mechanical physics. I have to tell you, I said I've been in this business 45 years. I didn't know what mechanical physics was. And the students had to explain it to me. So people of the diaspora, when we think about the challenge of education, right? Don't be misguided to believe that we don't know how to educate our children. And I raise this about Dr. Wilshire, not because he looks for accolades. In fact, if he were here, if he knew I was doing this, he'd be very embarrassed. I raise it because we should be demanding more schools like Medgar Evers Prep. Because if Michael Wilshire can do it on No String Crown, we can do it anywhere. Right? We can do it anywhere. So I would just close by saying this. a hero of mine, and Nelson Mandela was certainly one of my heroes. But another one of my heroes was a gentleman, the first person of African descent to receive a PhD from Harvard University, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. And he made a very classic statement in his book, The Right to Learn. And he said, and I'm not going to read it all, just one part. Of all the rights the world has struggled and fought for, the right to learn is undoubtedly the most fundamental. Right? It's been born by bitter sacrifice. And whatever you may think of all the other civil rights, we should fight to the last ditch to keep open the right to learn. Thank you.